Thank you so much for tuning in today. Your presence means the world to me. Today we embark on a deep, immersive journey through Plato's The Republic, Penguin Classics Edition, extracting the full breadth of lessons, facts, and knowledge this monumental work has to offer. This is not a brief overview. We will move gently, thoughtfully, and thoroughly through its ideas, weaving in context, critique, and application. So by the end you'll feel as though you've walked alongside Socrates himself. From the opening pages, Plato confronts us with the nature of justice. Is it better to be just or appear just? The dialogue begins by showing that many people confuse justice with reputation, with power, or with self-interest. But Plato insists that true justice is aligned with the soul's harmony. One's reason, spirit, and appetites must each play their proper role. We learn that a person ruled by reason who tempers spirit and desire creates a soul that is just, that mirrors the ideal society. Rulers, reason, auxiliaries, spirit, and producers, desire/appetite, each doing their proper work under wise guidance. One of the most famous lessons comes via the Allegory of the cave, where Plato takes us into darkness to show ignorance. Humans chained, seeing shadows, mistaking them for real things. When one prisoner is freed, he turns and sees the fire, the objects casting shadows, then journeys upward into sunlight where he beholds reality. Yet when he returns to share the truth, he's met with resistance. This teaches us painful but profound truths, that enlightenment is difficult, that most people prefer comforting illusions to hard truths, and that truth-tellers often face rejection. The journey out of the cave is mental and moral. It requires courage, discipline, and humility. Plato teaches us that education must not simply transmit knowledge, but transform the soul. He rejects mere technical training. He wants dialectic, the art of questioning, to lead the philosopher to the form of the good, the ultimate source of truth and light. The student must ascend through mathematics, geometry, astronomy, and dialectic, casting off the shadows and approximations toward pure understanding. That path is long, rigorous, and reserved for those willing to commit themselves fully. Leadership, for Plato, must be philosophy-based. He argues that philosopher kings, those who love truth and knowledge above all, are the only kind of rulers fit to govern. Without knowledge of the good, rulers remain subject to error, ambition, or tyranny. So he envisions a regime in which the wisest guide the many, a radical inversion of popular democracy. This leads to the insight that freedom without wisdom can lead to chaos, and that the greatest freedom is being guided by truth rather than impulses or demagoguery. Another deep lesson is about the structure of the soul and society. Plato divides both into three parts. In the individual, reason must rule spirit, which must restrain appetite. In society, the ruling class leads, the auxiliaries defend, and the producers supply needs. When each class does its role well and does not encroach on others, the whole is harmonious. This analogy helps us see how internal disorder leads to external injustice and how social injustice mirrors individual imbalance. Plato also prompts us to examine the nature of virtue and the good life. Contrary to hedonistic or materialist views, he claims that flourishing, eudaimonia, arises from virtue, from knowledge, self-control, courage, and temperance. The just soul is a happier, stronger soul. So ethics and politics are inseparable. You cannot live well unless your soul is just. You cannot have a just city unless citizens are cultivated well. We also discover in the Republic a striking analysis of regimes and their degeneration. Plato outlines a cycle of political decay, starting from aristocracy, ruled by the best, slipping to timocracy, honor-based rule, then to oligarchy, ruled by the wealthy, then democracy, ruled by the many, and finally tyranny, ruled by one. Each stage arises from the faults of the previous. Timocracy emerges when wisdom gives way to honor, oligarchy when honor gives way to wealth, democracy when wealth breeds disparity and freedom breeds disorder, and tyranny when chaos invites domination. This teaches us about the vulnerabilities of political systems and warns against extremes. Throughout the dialogue, we also gain historical and phenomenological facts. Plato's model reflects his own era's city-states, the role of warfare and guardian classes, the function of censored art or poetry to protect virtue, and the way communal living for guardians removes distractions of private wealth or family loyalties. These arrangements may seem radical or dystopian to modern readers, but Plato's argument is that guardians must be freed from material distractions to focus fully on wisdom and justice. An important lesson is how Plato handles the issue of censorship in the arts. He argues that poets and storytellers must be regulated so that they don't corrupt public virtue. Stories must promote virtue, not vice. Art is powerful and can shape character, so Plato would filter what story citizens hear. This raises lasting questions. Who controls culture? What stories shape society? Plato's view is stark, but forces us to confront the power of narratives. We also learn how Plato conceives knowledge and reality. He distinguishes between the world of becoming, physical things, and the world of being, eternal forms. Sensible objects change, perish, and deceive. The forms are immutable, perfect, and intelligible. True knowledge grasps forms, not shadows. This epistemology underpins his entire project. Justice, beauty, equality, good, all belong to the realm of forms. Practical knowledge must be approximations to these ideals. Another insight is Plato's exploration of the immortal soul and posthumous judgment. At the end of the Republic, Socrates describes how souls are judged after death. Virtuous ones go to reward, wicked ones to punishment, and the cycle continues through reincarnation. This underscores moral accountability, that justice extends beyond this life. As you can see, the Republic isn't just a text but a lifelong guide. How to live, how to lead, how to seek truth, and how to shape society. It challenges us to question illusions, to discipline our souls, to demand wisdom and leadership, to see how personal virtue mirrors societal justice, to guard the soul against corruption, to elevate our knowledge beyond appearances, and to live as if meaning, truth, and justice truly matter. Thank you for joining me on this deep exploration of the Republic. If you found value in this journey, please like, share, and comment with your reflections and favorite insight. I truly appreciate your support and engagement.